At first glance, Sailor Moon appears soft, emotional, and even childish. The series follows Usagi, a clumsy teenage girl who cries a lot, avoids responsibility, and frequently doubts herself. In many hero narratives, these traits would be treated as weakness. Heroes are expected to be confident, stoic, and emotionally controlled. However, Sailor Moon challenges that idea. Rather than portraying emotion as a flaw, the series presents vulnerability, compassion, and femininity as central sources of strength. The video essay argues that Sailor Moon redefines heroism by showing that emotional openness is not a weakness, but a powerful and meaningful form of strength. Sailor Moon belongs to the magical girl genre, a category of anime traditionally associated with transformation sequences, young heroes, and visual symbolism tied to beauty and ritual. At a surface level, Sailor Moon appears to follow these conventions. The series features elaborate transformations, color-coded costumes, and recurring themes of makeup, jewelry, and fashion. However, Sailor Moon doesn't use these elements ironically or as something to outgrow. Instead, the series treats femininity itself as meaningful and powerful. Rather than distancing heroism from beauty and emotion, Sailor Moon integrates them into its definition of strength. Usagi isn't introduced as a traditional hero. She's emotional, uncoordinated, and frequently overwhelmed by responsibility. Unlike many protagonists, she doesn't grow stronger by suppressing her emotions. Instead, her emotional sensitivity becomes the very trait that allows her to protect others. Her fear and doubt don't disappear over time. What changes is her willingness to act despite them. By presenting a hero who remains emotionally open, Sailor Moon suggests that strength is not defined by emotional control, but by empathy and perseverance. One of Sailor Moon's most defining traits is her refusal to rely solely on violence. Rather than viewing enemies as purely evil, the series often frames them as individuals shaped by loss, manipulation, or emotional isolation. Sailor Moon frequently chooses mercy, attempting to save her enemies rather than destroy them. In doing so, the series challenges the idea that compassion is unrealistic or weak. Instead, Sailor Moon presents empathy as a deliberate moral strength, one that recognizes suffering without excusing harm.
I am not letting you win this one, you witch. My friends are counting on me.
Sailor Moon rarely succeeds alone. Throughout the series, victory is consistently tied to cooperation, trust, and emotional support. The Sailor Guardians function as a collective, with each member contributing different strengths and vulnerabilities. Rather than presenting heroism as an individual achievement, Sailor Moon frames strength as something built through connection and friendship. This emphasis on community challenges the common heroic ideal of isolation, suggesting that reliance on others isn't a weakness but a necessary form of power.
This can't be! No!
The lasting impact of Sailor Moon lies in the way it expands who gets to be seen as strong. For many viewers, especially young women and queer audiences, the series offered a version of heroism that didn't require emotional detachment or toughness to be taken seriously. By centering compassion, vulnerability, and connection, Sailor Moon reframes strength as something deeply human. In doing so, the series reminds us that saving the world doesn't require being fearless, only the courage to care.